we are welcoming Peter Fischer, who is the officer for the green sport in the European Commission. And I will see a lot of topics around sport and sustainability. And he is one of the co-author of the playbook, the sports sector green playbook. And he has actually produced other content and a manifesto that he's going to discuss today. So we're going to talk about sustainability in the sports sector and how there is already a lot of initiatives and what more we can do. Yeah, and so Peter, I'll let you start.
Okay, thanks a lot. And good afternoon, because we're after 12. Thank you for being here and for your interest in the topic. I will talk indeed about the efforts underway for greening the European sports sector. I will tell you about the sports sector playbook and also about the Green Sport Manifesto, what it all is, and why you're also invited to join and sign up to the Green Sport Manifesto. But before I do that, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. So I've been working in the sport unit for somewhat over 4 years, where I focus on sport and sustainability in the Department of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport of the European Commission. I'm also following and dealing with international affairs, notably relations with countries in the Western Balkans and the neighborhood East, especially in the context of the European Week of Sport. I work extensively with member states and sports stakeholders, and I'm also involved in Erasmus Plus. I've been together with a colleague, I've been setting up the Erasmus Plus mobility action that you may be aware of. But today's topic is, of course, green sport, which has been one of my main priorities for the last few years. For me, it was a great opportunity to be able to join this unit where I could, merge my passion for sport with my motivation to work on the environment and sustainability. Now, I will tell you a little bit again what this presentation is going to be about and how it's structured. So, a definition about green sports. Then I put this into context, why sport matters in this context also of the European Green Deal, climate change, and so on. And then I will zoom in on the Green Sport Manifesto and also tell you about a knowledge community, the Shared 2.0 community. But I'm also interested, although we are at a webinar, an online event where I cannot really see you, especially as I'm in presentation mode now. But I'm also always curious to hear from my audience why they're interested in the topic and where they're from. So I prepared a little Slido question, and I hope a few questions, and I hope you are able to access this. So there's a QR code, and if you cannot scan the QR code, I invite you to go to slido.com and enter the 8 digits with a hashtag in front to tell me why are you here? What's your interest in the topic? So what's your motivation? And this will appear as a word cloud. And I have it on my phone. I may switch to the results, but maybe not, because I'm not so sure about technology. I'll give you a moment. Yes, I see 3 typing. Thank you. And we'll see. It would be nice to have a few more. Yes, 9. That's not bad given the turnout at today's event. So soon enough, there will be hopefully a word cloud, and then I will react to that. Okay, NHECP, Responsible Commission, Sustainability, all parts of the program, Erasmus. Different types of smileys. Green. Okay. Some are still typing. Inform. Okay. Yeah, still. How can we promote the topic in our programs and so on? All right. Thank you. I'll jump to the next question in like 5 seconds. So please finish. Um, and could you please tell me what type of organization you represent? Okay, if it's an ANA, you. So I structured it along this way: sport club, NGO, public federation, or potentially, unlikely though, business, because green sport affects all areas of our society, and you will see that when we look a little closer at the manifesto and also at the sports sector playbook. So NGO, other, but public administration is clearly the front runner. Okay, I think so 3/4. We have 18% other. Maybe you can put that in the chat of the Zoom to say what other means. I may come back to it, but not immediately. Thanks. Next question is to see how high your interest in the topic is on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest. So if you're super interested, I mean, the fact that you're here already speaks for itself. So yeah, you probably shouldn't go below 2, otherwise it would be even more amazing that you're here. But yeah, the kind of the average comes to about 4. Now it's a little higher than 4. All right, thanks. And the next question is, how would you yourself assess your existing knowledge of the matter, environmental sustainability in sport, what it is and what can be done, just to see what you would think yourself of how knowledgeable you are. Okay, so as you are not seeing this, I'm commenting live. It's from 1 to 4, there's everything. With 1 and 4 is, yeah, so the average score is about 2.6. All right. So that's it for now. So I will continue my presentation. This helps me to understand to what level of detail I should go. So first of all, then I would like to tell you the definition that we've used in the in the Green Sport Manifesto and the Sports Sector Playbook. So green sports can also be referred to as sustainable sports, of course, more specifically environmentally sustainable sport or sport and environment. In France, often it's called eco-sport. And it's a concept that refers to sports activities and events that are designed, organized, and executed with a focus on environmental sustainability and minimizing their environmental impact. So that should probably not be very surprising, but it's always helpful to clarify what we're talking about. And now let's also take a look why the whole topic matters. So obviously, sport is affecting climate change. Sport affects the environment and our biodiversity. But sport also is affected by climate change itself, by changing temperatures, the changing climates. And you can see here the illustrations, which are in French, as they were produced by WWF of France a few years ago, indicating how much or how much less sport is possible if temperatures rise. So if you on the left, you can see if it's +2 degrees on average, this leads to 9 days less of running activities per year. If temperatures rise up to 4 degrees, this could lead to 22 days of practice less per year. And And on the right-hand side, you can see that if the temperature rises by 4 degrees, 80% of the, or there's a reduction of 80% of the alpine peaks above 1500, which will not have enough snow. And so the photo on the left illustrates that scenario, which some of you may recognize, sadly, from winter sports nowadays. So the whole, this slide is really to illustrate that sport plays a role, sport is affected by it, and sport also can contribute to the solution. Sport reaches audiences, notably through major sport events that are not easily reachable if you just want to talk about climate change and environmental good practices. Sport has athletes who can act as role models. So sport has a role to play, and it has increasingly done so and addressed the issue. And at EU level, this is happening, of course, against the backdrop of the European Green Deal. Just to remind you that the key objective really is to have a net zero greenhouse gas emission economy at the whole European Union by 2050. And an interim target was to reduce that by 55% already by 2030. And you may know that we're slightly behind schedule for now. So all the more reason for the sports sector also to play its part. Now, I also wanted you to draw your attention on the Eurobarometer survey that we carry out every few years or so. The last one was from 2022 September, and we'll have a new one next year. In this survey, which is representative, asking citizens in all 27 member states, and for the first time, we also asked a question about environmental sustainability. And what you will see is that only around half of the Europeans that respond, half of the respondents across Europe pay any attention to the impact that their practice of sport or physical activity has on the environment. And perhaps even more worrying, only half of the respondents are actually aware of any sustainability actions that the sport organizations they know are active in, are part of, are taken. So if you look at this slide, you can see here that like 48% of the respondents say, we haven't noticed any action in the field of environmental sustainability. And if respondents, like the other half, says they've seen something, it is things like waste management or promotion of green energy or energy efficiency. So, which is to say, there's a long way to go. Okay. And this is also why it has become a priority also at EU level. You may know about the EU Work Plan for Sport, which is the 3.5-year plan where member states and the Commission agree on the priorities for that time period. And in the previous Work Plan for Sport, environmental dimension of sport was a strong priority. It still is now in the current Work Plan for Sport, but less prominently. But of course, you're all aware that environment and climate change is also an Erasmus Plus horizontal priority. In the context of the activities at EU level, I want to point out the French presidency and the Czech presidency of the Council of the EU, which were particularly active and produced council conclusions, notably on sustainable sport events and sustainable sport infrastructure. And in parallel, around this time, also the Green Sport Expert Group met. And I was introduced as an author of the documents and guidance I'm talking about. I cannot claim authorship. I can claim that I've contributed and coordinated the work of the experts, and was very engaged in making this happen. Also hosting the group and so on, but I'm not an author. Having said that, I want to just give you an overview who the people in the expert group were, so why the expertise and the recommendations that came out of this are important and credible. So we didn't start from scratch. We went to organizations, experts that already work in this field, IOC, the UN Climate Secretariat, European Environmental Agency were advisors, European Olympic Committee, and other experts. We had lots of expert speakers who are not representing member states, but sports sector itself. We had plenty of Erasmus Plus projects, several of which you have, I think all of them listed here, you will find in our documents that I'll tell you about a little more. They have contain important guidance that can help you if you want to be more environmentally sustainable in your activities, notably in the area of sport, of course. And you can see a list of other organizations, including major sport federations. And of course, we did not work in isolation. We worked with other relevant commission departments, the Joint Research Center, DG Environment, and DG Klima. All in all, there were 11 meetings, dozens of subgroup meetings, 120 participants, and they came up then with the sports sector playbook, which provides recommendations along 4 topics: sport infrastructure, event organization, capacity building, education, and promotion. This part is very important because in many organizations, there's simply not yet or very few experts on sustainability in sport or more generally. And the last point underscores the need for cross-sectoral cooperation. This is again the sports sector playbook, and just an overview of some of, well, the key recommendations. I will not go through all of them. Also, some of them are coming back in the manifesto, but in a different way. But some of the highlights include that member states are invited to, so member states / policymakers, they're invited to develop national sustainable sports strategies. And there's a recommendation to develop or to make public funding available for sport governing bodies only if also sustainability criteria are considered. And I can tell you some member states are already doing that, which is good, but not all of them. And of course, if you're a sport organization, you're invited to develop a sustainability strategy and measure your carbon footprint. And so these are the highlights. Also, for policymakers or at national level, it's important that you know what you're dealing with, because every time you want to take measures, somebody in your hierarchy, in your board will say, well, is it actually worth it and what does it actually do? So you will see also in the tools that we make available, both in the sports sector playbook and the manifesto, that there are tools such as carbon footprint calculators that you can use free of charge. Now, here's just an overview and the links, QR code to the sports sector playbook. But I want to now tell you what happened since, because you may have spotted this was in December 2023. So we were happy with the report. The quality was highly praised also by other experts not involved. But when the expert group finished, it was clear this needs more work because, as I said earlier, the people working in this area, they're often alone, they don't know where to turn to, and expertise is scarce. So hence, here comes the Share 2.0 knowledge community somewhat to the rescue, because here is an initiative, a network where experts who are interested in sport can come together and they can focus and discuss important topics such as sustainability. And capacity building events are organized, technical guidance and peer support is offered. And as you can see, the green sport is one of the community of practices which exists within the share community. And now the capacity building measures, the peer support is now offered through the share community. And if you're interested, you can also apply to become a member of the share community. When you receive the presentation, this is hyperlinked where you can learn more about share and how to apply. So now what came out of the work of the share community of practice? Well, I already alluded a few times to the Green Sport Manifesto. At the annual conference, this idea was born. And the idea is really that the manifesto engages the sports sector at every level to make concrete and verifiable steps to make sport more sustainable. We now have the manifesto invites sport organizations of any type, including public sector, big, small businesses, to make publicly visible their commitment to sustainability, and by signing up to 5 voluntary commitments, which I will show you in a moment. And of course, the manifesto is also a further resource, provides tools and case studies so that you can learn more how to go about this. And of course, it's very much about exchanging good practices and getting peer support and engage with others also from different sectors. And ultimately, the objective is also to help grow the green sport community within SHARE. Now, this is what this SHARE 2.0 Green Sport Manifesto looks like. So it's a document with recommendations. You can see the table of contents. Once again, there is a differentiation between sports sector and public sector bodies. But here, the document aligns the steps neatly, the recommendations, that some of which are of course, recycled from the sports sector playbook, but they are now more aligned to the different types of organizations, and the recommendations are underpinned with further steps that you are recommended to take. So to summarize, the Green Sport Manifesto provides guidance, you get tools, but you also get possibilities for making your engagement visible. And you do get peer support if you join the SHARE community. Now, here we come to the voluntary commitments. Again, the distinction between sports sector organizations or businesses and the public sector on the right. You can see there's overlaps, sustainability governance structures or a board. A sustainability strategy should be developed. And of course, tools should be shared, knowledge sharing is encouraged, and measuring and reporting on progress is strongly encouraged. And for the public sector, an emphasis is made that grassroots sports, smaller sports, are often particularly short of expertise and need special support. Now, I'm using the sports sector to illustrate what you could do if you were to sign up, and what the commitments could be underpinned with. So, for instance, if the commitment to put in place a sustainability governance structure is you identify at least one staff member who deals with this topic, but of course, the person should be accountable to a board member, which also means the board member endorses this, because what we've learned, and you may know it as well, if you want to get anything done, including more sustainable organization, you need senior management buy-in. And then you get some more tips, like you report annually, and it's recommended to create a budget line for environmental sustainability. For the preparation of sustainability strategy, we clearly say here in the manifesto it can be a simple one. We do not specifically insist on using carbon footprint calculators. It's recommended, but it's not obligatory in the first stage. Uh, and I will jump to the next slide because we need to also leave a bit of time for questions. Because what this page shows you, that you do not, if you're interested in getting your organization to sign up, the threshold is low because they are flexible. The level of let's say advancement on your sustainability journey can be from planned to already implemented in place. And I will run this little animation which illustrates that you can choose yourself once you come to the survey page where you can register your interest and your signature. You decide, your organization decides how far you feel you have come along on these various commitments. So you do not have to be perfect when you start, when you sign up to this. Once you register and sign up as an organization, we invite you to communicate this on social media. There are hashtags that you can see. And once you register, you arrive on another page where you get further communication guidance. Now I have to get to the next page, yeah, including these visuals. So only signatories have access to the signatory badge. And we hope that by making these commitments publicly visible, that will be an increased motivation to actually follow up on your good intentions or the organization's good intentions. So my question to you is, do you have any plans to make your organization or your sport activities, should you be active in sport, greener? And if so, well, I have an idea what you could do to demonstrate your commitment. This is the QR code and the link to the Green Sport Manifesto, where again you have access to the guidance, the report, the document, but then you're also invited to register your voluntary commitments, get the visuals in return, and communicate to your members, your followers, your customers, your spectators, whoever, that you're undertaking the sustainability journey, and perhaps you can encourage others to do so. My last comment before I stop and look forward to hearing your questions and reactions is that by the beginning of next year, we will have translations of the manifesto document itself, but also including the PDF, which organizations can sign, and also the communication guidance, etc. So everything will be available in all EU languages. And at that time, early next year, we'll make another communication effort, and we'd be happy if you supported this then. That's it for now. I look forward to your questions, and I will try to stop the presentation so I can see. Yeah, here's my chat window, and I can see if there are any reactions or questions. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome to write all your questions in the chat if you have any, or if you want to raise your hand and ask directly. You can do this as well. We can give you the authorization to speak. And also, if anyone wants to share a good practice or something they're putting in place themselves in terms of green, sustainability and sport, that can be really interesting as well to the other participants. About 3 minutes for people to take a look at the manifesto and as well, if anyone has questions or again, like a reaction. Christoph is asking, how do we
Yes.
make the link between the manifesto and the mobilities in Erasmus Plus? So that's something interesting.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, it's almost a bit of I don't know if it has to be addressed to me, but I think I can throw the ball back. I think it's my reaction would be it's somewhat of a philosophical yet practical question. I mean, I think there's no direct link between the well, well, there are links. If you look at some of the more concrete recommendations that you have in the manifesto and also the sports sector playbook, of course, when it comes to event organization, uh, choosing venues which are easily accessible by public transport or green transport, for instance, cycling or so, should be prioritized. But other than that, I don't think there's a clear link between the two, other than that it's contributing to the same objectives, which is making our activities um, across Erasmus Plus, not only in sport, more environmentally sustainable. But perhaps you have thoughts yourselves, colleagues.
Maybe I have one to jump on this. We have examples of a few projects, they're very rare, but projects where they choose to do the mobility and make the journey part of the activity. And so we have examples of people who went on a mobility, like a school sector, from Belgium, I think, to the Netherlands, and they biked. They took the entire class and biked to
Mhm.
the city that was welcoming them. And we have the example of another group. Again, I think it was school sector, and I cannot remember where. I think it was Northern Western Europe, where they did the mobility by sailing. So they sailed to the other country, to the next school. Is there like connections that you can make, or is there like other good practices like this where the journey that we would do by plane or by bus or by train, we're actually making it a sport activity and a physical activity? Do you have examples of this?
No, and not in the context of the work that we've been doing here. I'm not sure. I think the colleagues, especially if they're representing NAs, may have better knowledge of projects in this area. I haven't come across that, I must say. The projects, the Erasmus Plus project that are featured in the especially the manifesto now, and I would like to mention the Ocean Project in particular, because that is the one where 17 national Olympic committees worked on their own national, not national, on their organization sustainability strategy. They developed the carbon footprint calculator, which is available free of charge on their website, and which is also available not only in English, several languages. So and there's also a guide like how to go about writing a sustainability strategy. So this is it's really a nice project because it's Erasmus Plus funded, and the results have now been used. This one only in the manifesto because it's a recent project. So this is what we like to see when the Erasmus projects have good outcomes that can be later shared for others
Mhm.
with others.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that's all for the questions. I think we have no
I
more. I
would
don't
have a
see.
question back to the audience because the if I don't know
Yeah,
if the
yeah, go ahead, because we have
colleagues will
actually another
read.
question.
Ah,
Go
there's
ahead, go
another.
ahead.
Yeah, okay. But I'm wondering if the colleagues here see scope for sharing this and motivating their stakeholders to sign up to the manifesto? This would be a question I have.
Mhm.
Or is it not a topic that people are passionate about these days because they have other worries? Or and I'm not sure how many colleagues are actually representing sport itself. So
Mhm. Yeah, but what's the feedback they get from beneficiaries in the sports sector?
yeah,
Because we know in some sectors, like there is really a need from the participants themselves who want more sustainability, who are questioning their mobilities. So that's interesting. And maybe while people put their answers in the chat and share their experience, we have more questions. People use the Q&A module, which is really good, but I forgot that we have this as well activated. So we have a question first. To join the community of practice, do we need to already have a sustainable sports strategy developed within the organization?
uh, no. Um, so this is about the share community, right? So here we do not. So yeah, my answer is who we do not allow normally. So we do not allow individuals. So even if we had enthusiastic a student who is an individual, if there's no organizational link or embedment in a sports club or so, or um, maybe not institutional sport, but some kind of group, then no. But if you represent an organization involved in sport and you're interested in the topic, you can apply. We just screen a little bit that we're not getting people who have really no business to be there, but in general, colleagues who have an organizational background and interest in the topic are accepted.
Yeah, so there is no minimal level requirement.
No,
If you're
no,
interested in sport and the sustainability connection,
yes,
even if you have never done anything about it, you're
that's
welcomed.
right.
So that's very good. That could be the starting point actually to
Yeah,
develop a sustainable sports strategy. And
that's
we have
right.
another question. Is there any chance for South Mediterranean regions to enter Erasmus Plus sports in the new program? So we can do projects about outdoor green sport projects. So that's a wider question about the next program. I don't know if you have an answer for this.
No, I know that I cannot answer because we do not know. And if I knew, well, we cannot know because it will all depend on the negotiations with um, between member states in the council and with the parliament and so on. Um, Personally, the idea sounds nice, but I'm not sure if that is going to be feasible.
Yeah, we don't already have like a lot of information about the next program. It's still being negotiated. It's
Yes,
interesting to know that there is interest to better connect with
yes.
the Southern Mediterranean region, and maybe we can loop with Euromed Salto, who is working with those countries. But we have no idea yet. Yeah, we hope so. Absolutely. All right, and we're almost at the time. Do we have any more questions or any, again, feedback or
I
interesting
just tell
point?
you, I cannot somehow access the Q&A, but you do that for me, I see.
Yeah.
So if there's anything, you tell me. I see Christoph's comment that, yeah, we should promote this to beneficiaries. Yes, beneficiaries tend to represent organizations, so they are clearly also invited to consider doing that. I mean, the manifesto just came out, was launched in September, and nobody asked. I thought somebody would ask if we have any signatories. Yeah, we have about 45 to date. We didn't really set a target because we don't know how popular this is going to be. We believe when we have national language versions, this can have an impact because if you only have it in English, you're just talking you cannot reach grassroots sports level. That's quite clear. We do have as highlight signatories the French Ministry of Sport, the Spanish Sports Council, which is the equivalent of a ministry, let's say, and we have a few We have grassroots sports organizations from different parts of Europe, including Turkey. We have, and a few major sport federations have indicated they're looking into it to doing so. Once we have maybe a critical number or some headline signatories, we'll probably also promote this through our website and social media channels. And I hope Christoph and colleagues can help promote this through beneficiaries.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, hopefully this is
And
going to be
you.
able to give some visibility.
And you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank you, Peter, for attending this lunchtime webinar. Thank you all of you for attending. I hope it was interesting. We will publish the replay of the webinar on our YouTube channel, SALTO Green's YouTube channel. You also have all resources and all the links on our website if you want to take a look. And again, we have a few resources on sport, not a lot, but that's why it's interesting to have new productions around the sports sector and the greening of the sports sector.